The engines will actually be started by crew members in the back. No self-starters in these. And now, the moment has arrived for the traditional cry.
And here, against the traditional flag, is the chairman of the board of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Mrs. Tony F. Allman.
And so the sound of the engines dominates the scene now, but the real story is inside the car, inside the helmet, inside the racing coverall. The story is in the fingers tensed inside the gloves, the race plan waiting in the mind since last Sunday, the small fear that gnaws at the most courageous spirit. The real story is inside the 33 men who are about to race at Indy. That's Rick Mears, twice a winner here. Now on the comeback trail at 8:34, conscious that he has the fastest car in Indianapolis history under him. Conscious, too, of the pain that still lingers in his feet and legs long after the accident that almost ended his career. Mears on the inside of row 1. Next to him, Danny Sullivan, the defending champion. The swinging bachelor image is left to the public relations man now. This is 36-year-old Danny Sullivan, who used to sleep in the back of his car out to prove that last year's victory was no fluke. Rounding out the first row, this is 23-year-old Michael Andretti, aware of the two experienced champions inside him on the front row. Not a rookie trying to blaze a new trail, but a son trying to expand the family tradition. A tough job for anybody at best. Moving back to the second row, there's old Al Unser at age 46. He's the opposite of Michael, a three-time champion here. He tries to win one more to tie A.J. Foyt's record of 4 victories, and he's not unaware that his son sits in the row behind him, Al Unser Jr. Somewhere back there, old A.J., as we mentioned, he'll have to charge from the back, and it is his habit. It is his wont. And the same is true of Mario Andretti, way back there in the 10th row, remember. And Andretti trying to win his second Indy, 17 years after he won his only one in 1969. It appears that all the cars have gotten started. That's always the first item of business here. And they are, wait a minute. Let's see, who do we have there? Tom Steva's car. Now, underway. Yep. It always seems to be somebody who almost gets left there, and this time, Tom Sneva. So there they are.
America loves Teddy.
Jim Lafley along with Sam Posey, and we are back now as the cars are on the track, and all 33 of them complete the first of 2 parade laps. There will be another parade lap after this. It takes place at the extremely docile speed of about 70 to 80 miles per hour. Then a pace lap during which the cars will speed up to about 120 miles per hour. And if they are in proper order, at the end of the pace lap, neatly fitted into their 11 rows, then they will get the green flag that signifies the beginning of the 1986 Indianapolis 500. Sam Posey, this is a last opportunity for the drivers to collect themselves, to feel the cars under them, some of them moving back and forth, as you can see there, to warm up their tires. A last opportunity to really begin to sense what it's going to be like to start this race.
Well, at this moment, you're really 2 people emotionally. One wants to react to all this and to let it really wash over you that you're in the Indy 500. The other part of you is that rather tough, unemotional person that you have to be to have gotten here in the first place. I mean, I can remember warming up the tires, and you saw a couple of the cars do zigzagging back and forth, checking the gauges, and crying all at the same time.
You see them going by the huge grandstands which flank the front straightaway. The cars at the front of the pack are now into turn 1, and now you see them coming out of turn 1 into the short chute at the south end of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and toward turn 2. We have 3 race cams installed in cars. We're going to take a look right now at the view from the camera mounted in Danny Sullivan's car. That is the way it looks for someone in row 1. Sullivan has dropped just a little bit in back of Rick Mears and Michael Andretti, and now he moves back up between them. Our second race camera is mounted in the car of Ed Pym. Ed Pym, who was a rookie last year, is driving in the 4th row, and that's how it looks to be Ed Pym at this moment on the inside of row number 4. Emerson Fittipaldi and Johnny Rutherford are to the outside of Pym, as he begins to first feel the car perform. And finally, our third race cam is mounted in the car of Roberto Moreno of Brazil. And he is all the way back in row 11. That's how it looks to be at the very back of the pack, just in front of Moreno, and to his right, the red car belongs to Mario Andretti. Not that one which just darted into the picture on the right, but the one farther up there is Andretti's. And here, once again, a look at the point of view of one Danny Sullivan.
Well, you know what's going through his mind, and it's all focusing on the start, Jim, because those front row guys, each one of them would like to lead, not just for the prestige, not just for the fact that there's $25,000 riding on the 10th lap, incidentally, the leader of the 10th lap, but primarily so that they won't experience the turbulence and buffeting that you experience if you're following closely behind another car. They just would like to be in the clear.
Now the cars turn back onto the front straight. See them moving out of turn 4 onto the front straight, and as they come toward us this time, we expect the pace lap to begin. On the pace lap, the cars speed up to 120 miles per hour. And the adrenaline begins to rush. Quickly now again, a tour of the rows. Row 1, Rick Mears, Danny Sullivan, and Michael Andretti. In row 2, Bobby Rahal, Al Unser Sr., and Kevin Kogan. In row 3, Tom Sneva, Roberto Guerrero, and Al Unser Jr. Row 4, Ed Pence, Emerson Fittipaldi, and Johnny Rutherford. Row 5, Randy Lanier, Pancho Carter, and Jacques Villeneuve. Row 6, Danny Angayas, Jose Le Garza, Tony Bettenhausen. Row 7, Ari Lyondike, Jeff Brabham, the slowest car in the field, and in a precarious position there, A.J. Foyt. Row 8, Raul Bazell, Scott Brayton, and Phil Kruger. Row 9, Chip Ganassi, Jim Crawford, and Rich Vogler. Row 10, Parsons, Bettenhausen, and Mario Andretti. In row 11, George Snyder, Roberto Moreno, and the man who was added to the field as an alternate, Dick Simon. The pace car is being driven by the legendary test pilot Chuck Yeager, a man with a great deal of kinship in his career to what the drivers experience here.
Well, the whole concept, of course, of the right stuff, as introduced by author Tom Wolfe, pertains in a great many ways to racing drivers. There are some differences between racing drivers and pilots, but not a great many. And certainly the similarities, especially at a moment like this, overwhelm the differences. Both love the limelight. Both are willing to risk their hides in order to experience it. I wouldn't like